Hello, my name is Lala. A lot of people in my school ask me how I came to America and why. I tell them nothing, knowing that telling them would bring back painful memories that I never want to relive again. Now, as I get older, I've come to realize that people need to know. Need to know that there weren't just people running around with guns shooting each other. It was much more. Something that ripped the childhood right out of my hands, and I can never get it back. In a town named Abok in Uganda. I was only 12 at the time that war first had an impact on my life. News that the Lord's Resistance Army and their leader Coney was popular throughout my town. School days were often disrupted by false alarms that the army was here. We were told to run and hide outside. My friend named Grace and I would hide in a bunch of ficus elastic leaves far from our Catholic school. Some days we would stay there for very long hours, so we dug for ground nuts. After we had a good handful, we would hide in the ficus elastic leaves once again as we cracked open the shells, eating them in silence. Days went by, more and more false alarms started occurring. It started happening at least 5 times a week. Running to our spot in the trees and coming all the way back became tiring. One day, a teacher came running in. "Girls, we have to run right now. We have to go hide because it's not safe. There are rumors that the Lord's Resistance Army is coming this way," she said. Grace turned to me and rolled her eyes. Not another false alarm. Instead of running to our regular spot, Grace and I just hid in some leaves only about a couple of feet away. Hiding there would save us a bunch of time and effort. This wasn't a good idea, as soon we learned. This wasn't a false alarm. The Lord's Resistance Army was here and taking all of the schoolgirls they could find. The day I met Joseph Coney was horrifying. He looked as if he could care less that killing and rape was being caused because of him. I feared for my life every time he spoke. To ease my pain, I would grab onto Grace's hand, squeeze it as hard as I could. "Listen up, young girls. I know what you're thinking. I know that you're thinking how you can escape." Then he started to point out girls that seemed to be much older. He made them strip their clothes and kneel down around. "These girls are thinking about escaping. Do you know what I do to girls who think about escaping?" he said sternly. The girls in the line started weeping as he split the throat of a girl in the front of the line with a machete. Then he pointed out girls who slit the other's throat. I was one of them. He said whoever slit the girl's throat the fastest just stay at the base and cook food for the soldiers. This would be great for me because I was assigned a husband about a week ago and became pregnant. I haven't told anyone yet, not even Grace. I know I need to win because I didn't want to end up like the last girl. 1, 2, 3, go. Without hesitation, I slit my girl's throat. Blood started pouring out of her neck. Her eyes rolled back in pain. I looked at all the other girls to see that they all have done nothing. The soldiers started cheering and lifted me up, but I felt ashamed. How could I be so quick to kill myself? Is this what I've really become? What would my family think of me? As they lifted me away, I took a quick glance at Grace. Disappointment filled her eyes as she quickly turned away. Gunshots filled the room after I left. I never saw Grace again. My husband's name is Kato. We were assigned each other on the last town attack I went to. I was scared at first, but now I'm not. He's 16 years old and very nice to me. Kato was also abducted, and we talked about how he came to be today. He told me how before he was abducted, he was forced to kill his parents and rape his sisters. I could feel his pain throughout every word he said. He has never forced me to do anything. Kato also doesn't believe that the LRP is right. He's keeping it a secret so he doesn't get killed. When I told him about our baby, he was very upset. He didn't want a baby because he didn't want it growing up like this, the crazy world we're living in. I was speechless. I couldn't say a word. Questions filled my head like a disease. How could they take my husband back to that horrible place? How? Surely the Ugandan government knows he will die if he goes back. Why are they splitting up my family? 5 LRA soldiers abruptly rushed to the door. They grabbed onto Kato's only arm and started to pull him away. I screamed as loud as I could, begging them not to take him, but it seemed as if they had no emotion in their faces. Like anything I said didn't matter. Aisha held me back from running and hitting the LRA soldiers as they took him away. She must really be mine. Rehabilitation center. I remembered a truck. It had a sign with white letters on it, but I didn't understand it. Came to our base. White men came out of the truck and made us stand in a line. Coney picked out girls, and they filled the truck. I wasn't one of them. Aisha told me that it was an organization called UNICEF that helps children in war and poverty. I was angry and confused. I was in war, and I was in poverty. Why was I not chosen to leave? All the pain and horrors I went through, and it all could have been resolved if they would have picked me. I began to cry and didn't talk to anyone for a whole week.